Army aviation traces its origins to the American Civil War, when both sides used hot air balloons to send signals, direct artillery fire, and observe enemy troop movements. By World War I, fixed-wing aircraft had replaced balloons, and the Army Air Service grew from a few dozen planes to a powerful force of over 11,000 fighters and reconnaissance aircraft. During the interwar years, the Army's air arm added transport and medical evacuation, search and rescue, ground attack, and strategic bombing to its mission set, executing these missions as the U.S. Army Air Force during World War II. While most Army aviation assets migrated to the new U.S. Air Force in 1947, the Army retained its artillery observation and reconnaissance missions, providing the nucleus for a future aviation branch. Starting with the Korean War, rotary wing aircraft increasingly became the centerpiece of Army aviation, coming of age during the Vietnam War. Founded in 1983, today's aviation branch operates some of the most technically sophisticated and battle-tested airframes in the world. Aviation units provide accurate and timely combat information on the enemy, terrain, local populations, and friendly forces, as well as reaction time and maneuver space. Army aviation assets also destroy, defeat, or disrupt enemy forces, air assault ground maneuver forces, air move personnel, equipment, and supplies, evacuate wounded and recover isolated personnel, and enable mission command over extended ranges and complex terrain. Junior aviation officers spend most of their time in the Army's operating force, honing their piloting skills, small unit leadership, and staff expertise. This is an invaluable training and educational experience that helps them to understand the larger Army that they serve. As they approach mid-career, aviation officers are afforded opportunities to pursue graduate education and develop expertise suiting them for leadership in either operating force or generating force assignments, training and educating soldiers and leaders across the Army, as well as collaborating and training with America's allies. Aviation officers possess a special blend of skills, knowledge, and behaviors. Their unique talents help them to succeed in any mission.
Prudent risk taker.
Decisive yet thoughtful, aviation officers recognize and mitigate unacceptable risks, enabling mission accomplishment without unnecessarily compromising the safety of their soldiers.
Flying is an inherently dangerous operation, period.
We can make errors, and those errors can be fatal.
Composite risk management is a part of everything that we do, and it's determining what risk is worth the reward and knowing when to draw the line.
You're constantly assessing the situation, whether it's weather, terrain, enemy, wherever you go.
We don't want just the daredevils who are going to do anything, and we also don't want people who are afraid of their own shadow.
Interpersonal.
Aviation officers are skilled in developing appropriate relationships, connecting with others to effect positive results.
I think you have to be very personable to be an aviator.
Most aircraft are operated in concert with another human being. And so crew coordination is essential.
You don't know everything on the maintenance, so you're going to have to go to those NCOs and those technicians that are experts.
You have to adapt your leadership style, your influence style, based on who you're dealing with, who you're working with.
We all have different personalities, so we have to find common ground, we have to fit.
No man is an island.
Interdisciplinary.
Aviation officers routinely integrate and apply expert knowledge from multiple disciplines into a coherent, overarching perspective.
Interdisciplinary talent is extremely important in the aviation community.
You not only are operating a machine, but you're acting in concert with people, and you're doing it in the third dimension.
As an aviator, you need to understand the aerodynamics. You need to understand if you have something failing.
You have to have a natural kind of technical ability, not necessarily a technical degree.
You have to not only understand just your aircraft, but the logistics tail that goes along with that.
Spatially intelligent.
Rapidly maneuvering in depth, breadth, and altitude, aviation officers easily perceive, understand, and thrive in today's multi-dimensional operating environment.
As an aviator, spatial intelligence is huge. It's a big part of what we do.
The ability to interpret terrain,
Knowing where that ground commander is,
the ability to understand where you are in time and space.
We move at a faster speed.
We have to deconflict by altitude. There's so many aircraft sometimes crammed in a short space.
three-dimensional, understanding what's around you is very important.
Innovative.
Aviation officers are creative, inquisitive, and insightful. They readily identify new solutions to complex problems and lead change.
The ability to come up with novel and useful solutions is important because the problems that you contend with are not always well defined.
You need to think outside the box when you're making certain decisions.
Innovation is important because the Army is always changing. The battles that we're fighting are always changing. The threats that we're facing are always changing.
Multitasker.
Aviation officers can rapidly process and prioritize multiple demands simultaneously.
You are going to be asked every single time you get in that aircraft to multitask.
You have to be able to quickly shift your focus from one task to another. They involve all the senses.
When you're flying an aircraft on a mission, you have 4 or 5 radios that you're talking on simultaneously.
What's most important now? How do I prioritize this extremely long list of things that I need to do right now?
You have to communicate to air traffic control, you have to communicate to other aircraft, you have to be able to communicate to maneuver forces on the ground.
I went to school at the University of Arizona in Tucson. I'm a graduate of the ROTC program.
I was commissioned through the United States Military Academy.
I went to North Georgia College,
I majored in material science engineering.
Human regional geography.
finance.
I majored in mechanical engineering.
What I love about aviation, what sets it apart in my mind from the other branches, is that we do all the different types of missions. We're full spectrum operations.
It was one of the branches I saw where you got to do the thing that you loved throughout your career.
You fly.
There's something adventurous about it.
There's nothing like it. Once you've flown, it's hard to walk the earth without your eyes turned skyward.
What was appealing about aviation branch to me was the leadership opportunities that they provided.
You're just not a pilot when you commission into the aviation.
Leadership in the aviation community is just like leadership elsewhere. It needs, it wants, and it demands leaders.
When you get into the branch, you're going to see that you're the least knowledgeable person when you step into that unit. But yet, you're going to be the platoon leader, and individuals are going to look to you for guidance.
The demands of a lieutenant are for you to get to the unit, be ready to learn, be ready to show that you are willing to learn, but that you are a leader as well.
You got to be able to not only fly the aircraft, communicate, shoot, navigate, but also be a leader, make tough decisions, multitask, and make sure you get back home safely.
Being in an aviation unit's a lot of fun. You're around great people. They're smart. They're disciplined. They're mission focused.
This is a lifelong love. It wasn't something that I, decided on a whim.
If it's your dream, you got to go after it.
I am very, very happy with the decision I made.
I love doing this.
Above the best.